The following program was paid for by Southern American Media.
And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, along with Chris Reed, as I do realize that we have the wrong intro playing, and we'll get that fixed over the weekend.
I'm a distraction.
How are you this morning, Chris?
I'm doing good. Enjoying the rainy weather.
Boy, did you
without
get
the severe weather.
What about turkey? Did y'all do a big thing yesterday? Did y'all do the fried turkey? What'd you do?
Yeah, we did. We just actually splurged off our in-laws as usual.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. We walked across the yard. We didn't have to do any cleaning up or anything, and we had ham, turkey, and dressing, and everything was delicious. And had a good time. Went back to the house and laid on the couch, and that's the only thing I could do afterwards.
There's nothing better than not having to do the dishes and going somewhere else.
Exactly.
Or the cleanup.
Exactly.
But I posted this a few moments ago, and we have to pick on my mother-in-law, Barbara Sue. I hope Barbara Sue is watching this morning. She has put my dog into a coma. Because Sophie knows who to go to. You know, through the years, she picks up on who will feed her under the table while everybody's eating. And this is poor Sophie after lunch yesterday. She just couldn't take it anymore. She passed out.
You're not one leg stiff.
Oh,
That's how I felt yesterday.
it just stuffed.
Yep, that's it. But you know what? As full as I was, Steph made this dessert, strawberry shortcake, something which is just sugar, and
Sugar?
Yeah, sweetened condensed milk. And so the sweetened condensed milk wasn't enough that she put in it. And I said, I think I'm going to get some dessert. And I was full. And so I got some sweetened condensed. She said it already has it in it. I said, I know, but a little more is not going to hurt. And my goodness, yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh, it was good stuff.
I didn't get any banana pudding, and I blame Barbara Sue because she's like the keeper of the banana pudding in the family. She's got the best, and she didn't show up with any.
What's wrong with
You
her?
have to call some people out every once in a while.
Just call them out.
Christmas is coming. I expect it.
Well, it's not too far away.
I'm married up in this family for a reason. It was nanner pudding.
Nanner pudding.
It hooked me. We do hope everybody is going good. Now, as I asked Chris just a moment ago, I brought it up during the 6 o'clock hours broadcast about Black Friday. Did you see crowds coming in?
No, I didn't. I actually rode downtown, and so I didn't see any heavy traffic. Not even on the interstate too much. Coming up 22nd Avenue into downtown. I didn't go the way of Crossroads or anything like that, but I know that Best Buy is closed. And used to every year you'd have people lined up around the corner at Best Buy.
You know, we used to give away back when we were in radio in the day when radio was a thing. Parking places at the mall and also at Walmart to have a spot up by the door. Most people, they still shop local, but they buy it off the internet. And if you've got a local business and you don't have your products online, I urge you to do so.
Right.
Because so many people do that. It's easier.
Exactly, yeah.
They can wear their jammies and order from you.
I think with the whole digital technology and ordering, anything at your fingertips on your smartphone, your computer at home, that people sit there and they submit the order and then they have it delivered at their doorsteps. We're I think progressively becoming lazy. I've been lazy for a while.
But you're getting lazier.
Just getting more so as the years go by.
You bring up that laziness thing. Have you ever been to buy a gallon of milk on a Saturday morning and notice the abundance of jammies, people wearing their pajamas inside the store, and it really doesn't faze them to do that?
Yeah, just a little bit. My baby girl yesterday, we went somewhere. No, we went to eat, I think, at Cracker Barrel or something. And Steph looked down, and she had on house slippers with a yellow smiley face or whatever. She just put the house slippers on, slip them on, and it's a lot easier. Rather than
put tennis shoes on.
Yeah, just house slippers. And I said, you look like somebody buying groceries in a grocery store, sliding around in your house slippers.
Well, this leads to the next question. Since you were one time in law enforcement before you got thrown out. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's former, not fired like John Clayton likes to say. It's former, make me feel good.
Former police officer over here. Seriously, what is the craziest outfit you've pulled somebody over? You walked up to the window and you got your ticket book in your hand, you look down and you think, did you really leave home wearing that?
Nothing.
Really? It was that?
It was the nothing outfit.
Oh, how do you handle that?
They were in the, I didn't handle anything. It was in the back seat, but I didn't handle anything. And I stayed there about 2.8 seconds. I'm not going to spend all that time writing a citation.
Do you get a ticket for driving that way? There's no law against that, is it, if you're not out of your car?
Well, not necessarily, because a vehicle is considered an extension of your home. But yeah, I was always, I was always brought up is if when you go out, make sure you have on clean underwear.
Correct.
If you have an accident, I've always heard that. And but yeah, no, that was it was butt naked.
I have to ask, did that person, what did they choose to be that day?
Like I said,
were they female or male that day?
Yeah, it was a male. I didn't get in the explanation of why you're the way that you are. Like I said, you couldn't get too much information in that 2.8 seconds that I stood at the driver door. And so just retreated back to my vehicle and carried on. I was 19.
You know how some things just stick in your mind? 1996. If anybody ever been to Jackson, Mississippi? It was back when it wasn't so bad over there. County Line Road. You know where that is?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep.
I had booked me a hotel room at the Shoney's Inn. It had a Waffle House right out front, or maybe it was the Shoney's Inn out in front. I forget what it was, but a good place to eat. It was nice, quiet. And I'm going up to my room, and this guy passed me wearing absolutely nothing. I went. Then all of a sudden, here comes this big old boy wearing a cowboy hat right after him. And I can only...
Give me my money. Give me my money.
I can only imagine why that dude was chasing him.
He didn't get paid.
Yeah, that was a bad situation. But you do bump in, like Naked Guy. Yeah. When you were on MPD, did you see, has Naked Guy been around that long?
Never had an encounter with a Naked Guy or anything like that. Now we had some couple of incidences in the late 90s, early 2000s of somebody that strung out on dope or whatever.
Yeah,
but
kind of show up not dressed.
Right. But that was few.
Just for the pure enjoyment.
We didn't have anything on a regular basis as far as that. But also, having said that, in the late 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have social media.
True.
And so if it didn't make the news, or the newspaper, then we didn't hear about it. So somebody could have been, but it just wasn't newsworthy.
Yeah.
Because now we have social media, somebody live streaming, recording pictures taken or whatever and posting it on social media, so everybody sees what's going on a daily basis.
And if y'all remember this, before Facebook came along, Meridian had one thing, and this was in the 90s. No, wait a minute. It was in the early 2000s. I had to back up. Before Facebook came along, there was one thing in Meridian that we had, and of course it's gone away now. The Meridian Star had a thread online, and anything that happened online, you made up these fake names. I remember people with the fake names on there, and they would type in what was going on in Meridian so it wouldn't reveal who they were. I made that quite a lot, if I remember, but that was the pre-Facebook in Meridian, if anybody remembers that.
Yeah, I don't, then I don't even remember. I don't even think I watched the news then.
And you were going to tell me, I guess, that you weren't old enough to read a newspaper. That's what I figured you were going to say.
Well, yeah, that too. I'm a youngster. I'm a youngster. And
But, I remember 1993 when Katie Couric sat on the couch and she goes, "We've got something new. WWW. What does that mean? Worldwide what?" And they explained it, and I remember me and Angie were standing there watching it, and we would pay $3,000 or $4,000 for this big, huge anchor that they called a computer. Times have just really changed the technology.
Oh, yeah. Look, I remember when the clear cassette tapes came out.
Oh.
You remember?
I do.
It was the white cassette tapes and the clear cassette tapes, and I'm saying, my goodness, look at technology. What are they going to come up with next?
And they did.
And they did. And
then they would get rid of that.
And they got rid of that and went to the CD?
Yeah, and then got to digital now. You can just plug your phone in or MP3 it to your... Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Technology.
It is Black Friday. He's wearing black for the occasion. I'm glad you chose to be with us here. Don't forget, next week we won't be on television due to the fact that they're going to have soccer. It's a big deal across the United States, and Fox Network is going to be covering that. So if you're watching, make sure to tune in and find us next week on Facebook or YouTube. It's easy to do, and all you have to do is hold your phone up, take your phone out, turn your camera on, and hold it over that right there, and that will take you to our page. It's pretty simple, Not hard to do. We'll show this again this morning. But if you'll hover your phone over that, it will take you to our YouTube page. You can like, subscribe, and get notified that way.
So you're still having the show. It's just not going to be on Fox 30.
Yeah. All because of Fox doing the nationwide
I think it's the
kickball.
FIFA World Cup or something.
I don't know what FIFA means, but
yeah, me and Taterbug. Well, that's my oldest daughter's name. Well, it's not her name; it's her nickname. Her name's Taylor Alexis. I don't want people to laugh at me and say, "Poor girl, he named her Taterbug." But it's a name after her great grandfather. But we were talking about FIFA, what it stood for, and I said, "My goodness, I seen something like International Federation of Football Association or something like that." So foosball. That's it. Who said the foosball?
That's what's her name from. What's his name in the football movie? The mama.
Yep.
Mama
Waterboy.
is the devil. Waterboy. Yeah. It's foosball. Coming up, more on the way. Thank y'all for being a part of this. We'll be right back and to tell you about what's been going on in the area as we all get over Thanksgiving.
Have a sleigh full of fun this season with gifts and accessories from Al's Garden and Gift. The spirit of Christmas shines in the Christmas shop. Themed trees, snow globes, nativity sets, and more. Gourmet foods, gift baskets, and certificates are perfect for holiday parties and gifts. Homes will be merry and bright with a custom wreath or centerpiece. Add color outdoors with beautiful blooming winter flowers, and it's the perfect time to plant fruit trees and shrubs too. Charm and beauty await your home. Merry Christmas from Al's Garden and Gift.
On this field, as on the gridiron, each inch is fought for and marked by sweat. Each inch taken through disciplined training. With a Kubota L2501 tackling each inch in the trenches, whether those inches are measured here or here, all adding up to yards. For each yard, Kubota measures victory, and the touchdown is Parrish Tractor. Here, we're much more than a tractor store.
If you've got an outdoorsman on your Christmas list, make sure to drop into Garrett's. Quality pocket knives with the latest fishing gear of rod and reels. Maybe it's a new set of binoculars or a new scope. With one of the largest selection of firearms, you're sure to find the one you need. Protect your investment with a Browning fireproof safe. With a large selection of deer condos, including the new style, the hay bale. Come by for a quick look. It's all at Garrett's, 3505 8th Street, your Christmas headquarters. And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, along with Chief Chris Reed.
See, you always know what to say to pull at my heartstrings.
I'm trying to pep you up there.
I appreciate that.
It is a title that I think sticks with you forever. There's not a time that I've walked by Jeff Lewis and I said, "Hey, Chief."
Right.
It sticks.
Look, I do the exact same thing now, and still call a former chief or whatever. Chief, hey, Chief, how you doing, sir?
I'm telling you, that coffee shop, and you name it Chief's, I think would work. Now, I'm not saying there's an abundance of police officers to come fill it up, but...
True. Yeah, but it could be. Things can change.
That's true. That's right. They always do. I want to bring this up now. I have not gotten any confirmations yet, but areas of concern that we want to look at. If you own a business in Meridian, I highly suggest checking in this area from last night. I'm getting some comments of some things going on in the area. I hadn't gotten anything confirmed yet, but let's pull this up a map here. This area here along 4th Street, past Mike Rice Auctions, down through this area through here. If you own a business in this area, anywhere near Metro ambulance service in that area, might want to check things to make sure that you were not broken into.
Right.
Make sure nothing happened here.
Yeah,
check your stuff.
You've got Southern Sportsman, Planter Supply area like that.
Yeah.
And then it's right there by the Union Station pretty much, down from it.
Yeah, here's General Supply back. Right. All that area, y'all check it out. If you're in that neighborhood, we don't want, and we'll be on top of this. We'll get to investigating some more after the show to make sure, see what we can find out on that. One of the areas there, we had some arguments take place overnight. 60th Avenue, Popo had to go out and say, "Hey, y'all calm down. Eat your turkey and don't fight amongst each other."
Yeah. Your brother and sister quit fighting.
Yeah, overall, we didn't have anything bad. I think most people did eat turkey and sit back. We'll find out about some possible break-ins later. But for the most part, people got along yesterday. It wasn't a lot out on the streets. The sad news that we have to tell you this morning, and this happened 8:30 last night, somewhere right along in there, is we would find out that an accident happened at 22nd Avenue exit, which is exit 153, I-20. the downtown exit.
Right.
Uh,
22nd Avenue exit.
As we pull this up, this was the scene last night. Let me hit play on this so you can see this. Now, what you're seeing here is the accident that occurred. 2 people lost their lives in this wreck. One car was flipped over. Another one was badly hit. As we wait to find out more details about this, and a third person was critically injured and taken to a hospital. Our hearts go out to those family members. You know, this is right after Turkey Dressing Day. This could have been someone traveling through Meridian. I've sent Clayton a text this morning to see what we can find out more about this, of the identities and where they're from.
Right. Now, this was when now? The night?
Last night.
Last night? Okay.
Somewhere around 8:30-ish in that neighborhood is when the wreck happened there at 22nd Avenue.
Yeah, and I believe that's whenever we started getting some rain moving in. Correct?
Yeah. Streets were wet, slick. Accidents can happen. So as we learn more about this, we'll pass that along to you today and get more information on this. We also had a tragedy. No one has lost their life. We have someone in serious condition. As we go to our friends at Clark County Hot Topics, and they show us that an accident happened involving a motorcycle yesterday afternoon. Someone was, if you'll see the damage of the car was involved with this. And as we look at this, the aircopter had to come in and fly this person for medical attention to a hospital.
You know, if you look at it, and it involved two vehicles, you know, 4-wheel vehicles. You look at that damage right there and you say, well,
right.
That doesn't look too bad. But you're talking about a motorcycle, crotch rocket, making impact with a car like that and causing that much damage. So that was a pretty good impact.
It was
involving a motorcycle. And you said the driver of the motorcycle was airlifted.
They were, and we sent out prayers to that family. We don't have names at this point, not ready to be released, but we don't know the condition they're in. But put in a prayer for them. That's a pretty rough thing to go through. Anytime that you have a motorcycle versus a car, it is not good.
Right.
We've seen it all too many times. We don't have much information on this, but we do know that toward Lauderdale, Mississippi last night on Lauderdale Road, there was an accident involving a 4-wheeler. Responders would be called to arrive at this, and right before they got there, they would be notified that the person was taken by private vehicle to the hospital. They felt that they couldn't wait any longer and rushed them toward the hospital. We wish them also a full recovery. It was just an evening of accidents and small things as people started getting out after eating.
Right. Yeah, and usually, I mean, with an ATV, I don't know the circumstances around it, but major holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, a lot of family gatherings getting together in numbers and usually having fun, the kids having fun, getting on 4-wheelers, side-by-sides and stuff, and they kind of get to playing around in accidents. That's when accidents happen. So you just have to be mindful and careful.
As Denise brings up in the comments, as we're looking at her brother passed away in a motorcycle accident one time,
right,
in years past. And condolences on that. It's just bad. Now, I mentioned this also at 6:30 when we done our first broadcast, that last year during the Thanksgiving holiday on the highways and byways of Mississippi, I think we had 5 deaths. We're already at 5 deaths, 2 in Meridian. We had 1 in Stone County, 1 in Jasper County, and 1 in Jones County that we're aware of. Now, there could be more that I haven't been notified about because most journalists took yesterday off and there was not a lot of news that's been dumped to the public just yet. As we watch this, that's sad. This small amount of time. It's just Friday, Black Friday. We got all the way till Monday morning for this holiday window to close.
Yeah, and I've noticed, I don't know what it is, even here locally in Meridian, maybe because you've been posting all of those, and you're basically the only news outlet that we get the real time and the information out. Whether you agree with it or not, news is news, and getting those. But I've seen more and heard about more accidents. Just seems like in the past 3 months here in Meridian, it just seems like a half a dozen on a daily basis, and especially on the interstate. And I mentioned the interstate because we have 2 major interstates running through our corridor, I-59 and I-20, and it's so congested. And right in our city limits we call it the split.
Yeah, 59 and 20.
Right, 59 and 20, right where it splits, right where it comes in, joins in those 2 major interstates, and it starts our city limits. And we used to be out there, my interdiction unit or criminal enforcement unit, and we used to be out there on a daily basis, probably 3 to 4 vehicles deep, Tahoe sitting out there. And we did a study. I did a study back in 2004, 2005, that the fatalities and the accidents, number of accidents, the percentage was so much higher. And then when we started going out there, that especially your local traffic during the week, people coming into work, they live in Newton County, Clark County, coming into work, they knew that we would be out there. So they would slow down. And the percentages dramatically dropped, especially in fatalities, because they saw us out there.
So what
we were out there.
You're trying to tell me, if I'm reading this right, that the possibility of police presence has an effect on the public and maybe cuts back on wreck and crime?
Yeah, it's not a probably. It absolutely does. Period.
Good point, y'all.
It does. We didn't stop the accidents, but a lot of the traffic on the interstate is local. People coming into work and leaving work. They knew we were going to be out there. And
a lot of zipping in. They just don't drive as fast.
Exactly. And so, with that presence, I mean, the numbers don't lie. We saw it dramatically drop in those years that we were out there. So it does have an effect.
And you're right. I haven't seen a black Tahoe in the middle of an intersection in quite some time now.
Yeah.
They may be there, and I just haven't seen them.
That's another story.
Okay. We'll get to that one day. What about, have you seen this morning where we find out, this is bad, y'all. You go home, you get the day off for Thanksgiving, and you're getting ready to fry the turkey, and all of a sudden you hear gunshots ring out. We go to Holmes County, Mississippi. A Mississippi Highway Patrolman's car was shot at yesterday morning around 6:30.
Yeah.
Where do criminals think that this is okay, that they can get away with it, that there's no consequences? Or do they even care anymore, Chris?
Well, it's just, and we kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday on the show, that they've just gotten a little more brazen, and they're more apt this day and age for whatever reason. It could be the economy. It could be the direction our nation is going and has been going. It could be the racial and the political divisiveness that we are in this day and age, that it's causing people to hit their rock bottom. And they're more brazen to try something than just to comply. We used to call it a fight or flight. This individual we're dealing with, man, he's making a decision now, fight or flight. Take off running or go ahead and fight it out. And they're at the point now where they're just wanting to fight it out. And now they're wanting to fight it out with guns. And people say, well, that's why we need gun control. Look, criminals don't care about the law. They're going to get their weapons. They're going to have weapons. If they don't have a gun, they're going to have a knife.
Or a brick.
Or a brick, or a rock, or whatever. And so my point is their mindset is different than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. There were still things that happened back then, but it's just not in the numbers that it's happening now. And that's why I mentioned yesterday on domestics, just make sure you have backup with you. If you don't have backup, sit in your vehicle and wait. But that in homes, I don't remember the last time I heard of a deputy of a highway patrol or city cop sitting on the side of the road being ambushed or whatever and shot multiple times. I mean, I've heard it in New York and Chicago,
but this is Mississippi,
Pennsylvania. This is Mississippi, and it's just it's having a trickle down effect of what's going on nationally. What do you do about it?
More on the way this morning as we begin this Black Friday with Scotty, Ray, and Chris. Candace is somewhere in America missing. We don't know where. She just won't tell us. Candace, let us know where you're at.
Have you been in an auto accident? Call Will Parker. Get the help you deserve. Call Will Parker. Don't settle for less and know your rights. Call Will Parker. Call or go online at parkerfirm.net. Call your Meridian lawyer, Will Parker.
Honeysuckles on North Hill Street is bringing the Christmas cheer to you this year. And don't forget to order your Christmas centerpiece today. A great way to light up your table. They have hand-painted ornaments brought in from Poland, and they make great Christmas gifts and heirlooms. They carry the complete line of Satterfield pottery, and that's made in Oxford, Mississippi. And don't forget about the fresh wreaths and garlands that are available. Order yours now. Honeysuckles, 2626 North Hill Street. Gifts for the holiday season. And welcome back. Did you do any wagering yesterday on the Egg Bowl?
Absolutely not.
Who'd you pull for?
I didn't pull for anybody. I could care less.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and I probably upset some folks. So if I upset those that are Mississippi State fans, I pulled for them. If I upset folks with Ole Miss, I was pulling for them.
I really had given up on State. It was, I said, they're losing, and I backed away, and I didn't watch that last part. But they come back and won. 24-22, I think, was the final score.
Never give up on somebody that has a quarterback like that. And this day and age of run and shoot and just spreading the offense out and just slinging the ball or whatever. You see that. You see it usually on the West Coast in NFL. Now you're seeing it in the college, and it's successful. Oh, I love this.
Iron Bowl is coming. That'll be next tomorrow. I think this is when that's doing. We got. I mentioned this briefly of strikes that happen in America, and could it be that we're getting ready for a railroad strike? Now the president says what?
I don't know what he said. He doesn't know what he says.
He says he's got. I'm not engaged in it. Although the press secretary goes, he's fully aware of everything going on. We don't really know who knows what, but there is. If this happens, prices will go up, which will affect goods of every sort, because it's just like trucking. There's so much that is shipped on rail. You don't realize just how much America depends on this to get products shipped from one side of America to the other.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big industry.
Yeah, and imagine if that does happen and shuts down the rail system. Trust me, you will see an effect in regards to our economy. And so a huge effect. Just imagine this, especially the 18-wheelers. If they were shut down just for a weekend, the type of a negative effect that would have on our society and our nation, and even locally, grocery stores everywhere. So we definitely don't want that to happen. But as far as what he said, he wasn't engaged in it whatsoever, wasn't in talks. And then the White House says that he's actively involved. I think I saw a picture, and I told you of him yesterday. He was holding a turkey and just said Happy Mother's Day. So all the mothers out there yesterday, if I didn't say it, Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, that's pretty good. And I think that's the way most people feel about that. He still, yeah. Well, boy. As America rolls this morning, welcome. It is Black Friday. There's going to be a lot of shopping. Maybe you're looking for the next thing is it Cyber Monday that it's called, where everything gets slashed online for Monday? I think it is.
I think it is. I don't know. My family's not going to be involved in that.
You've taken all keyboards away?
All keyboards away. All smartphones, everything.
Well, we'll see what becomes of it. Let's think about what's going on. Did you get a chance to watch the other day when we had our press conference with the chief in Meridian? Did you see any of that?
I did.
Let me ask this. I asked the question when we were in the interview, and I've after research, I've gotten an answer that was different than what was given to me. I asked how many officers could arrest on the police department. Not how many we had, but how many could actually arrest. And I was given the number 53. And I said, are you sure that they can arrest? And she said, yes. Now, after I dig into this, I find out that we have 26 that could arrest. That includes supervisors. When you back that out, it's 17 that are actually on the beat that ride up and down the road. But if you include the supervisors that direct them, they could. Right. So am I right in my figures? Am I pretty close on that?
Yes, you are. Look, the chief of police has arresting powers. The chief will not arrest. That's not his or her job.
It would have to be something dramatic. They're driving home, see something.
The assistant chief has authority to make an arrest, to effect an arrest. But that's not what that position is designed for. All right, the assistant chief's position is designed to operate the department operationally and logistically.
I got you.
All right. So
they're kind of busy in the building.
Exactly. The chief of police is basically the liaison between city administration, the mayor, and the police department, public safety. But can they effect an arrest? Yes. Do they? No, they don't. That's why you have a patrol division, and that's why you have a CID division.
And that's criminal
investigation. CID is criminal investigation division. So detectives. So you have 5 to 6 detectives, and you have approximately 17 to 19. A couple of them are in the process of resigning now, and then there's a few others that I had heard recently that have their applications in and just waiting on their application.
Well, I had been told that morning that we had 2 more that had turned in their resignation, and I asked that, and she said that she was not aware of it.
Chief of police should be and will always be aware of their personnel.
Yeah.
Period. That's it.
And I also ask this because there's not been a time that I have called our Chef Billy Solly at any time and said, Billy, I need a comment. Would you come by? Would you talk? And as always, I'll be there. And right. I asked, could the police, because we are all concerned about crime in the Queen City, and I asked, is there a way that we can weekly get updates from the Meridian Police Department? And she told me that she was too busy to do this. Is that common?
No, look, you have to understand something. All right. Whenever I was the chief of police, I was right dab in the middle of a mayoral election.
Right.
Now, you're talking about the mayor constantly communicating with me about
Keeping
issues
things positive.
in regards to the election that's going on. He's trying to get reelected, and then other candidates are running for. So I'm the chief of police. Now, you're talking about a busy time. And then especially I was the first chief that was confirmed, because 5 or 6 chiefs prior to that, they were just interim chiefs.
Right.
So we were going through that whole firestorm. And then finally we had one confirmed, which was me. So I was it for the 6-month mayoral election, which I was in there about 11 months until I was let go by a new administration. But it was busy. But reality is, no matter how busy I was, it goes with the territory. The part of your job is to communicate to the citizens who's relying on you.
And correct me wrong, I probably called you 2-3 times a day.
2 or 3 times a day.
I do that with Billy.
Other news outlets and Meridian Star. Look, I was getting calls from media just 5 to 6 times a day. And if nothing happened that day, they were still calling, asking about what the update is on a crime or whatever, or an investigation the week prior. But it goes with the territory. It's your job. Your job is not to sit in that office. I spent maybe an hour a week in that office. People don't want, whenever they have a problem, they want to speak to the chief. They don't want to come to the office, because that's not where the problem's at. They want me to come out on the street, come in their neighborhood, come in their community. This is the problem I have, and this is why. And I had to address it.
And there's nothing quite like seeing a visual of when somebody's got a problem of going. They go, people come by my house every day and they do this, and you can see what they're looking at. It truly does make you understand them a little bit better, doesn't it?
It does. I even got in trouble by my own administrative staff at the police department, because we were effecting a search warrant on an individual at an apartment complex. And so the maintenance man handed us a key and handed it to me, and I went up there, and I was the front man, and I came back down and gave it to the SWAT team, the entry team, and came back down. He said, Chief, with all due respects, don't ever do that again.
That's their job.
And he said, if something was to ever happen to you, he said, I'm going to have to explain, and which is true, but I'm still a police officer.
Right.
I was just the one that took the blame for everything when things were going bad, but it was my job.
Right.
It was my job. And then when things were going good, I praised the officers and praised the detectives and praised up the patrol, because they were doing their job. And so, yeah, if you're too busy and you can't get to it or whatever, and you stay in your office locked up, you need to find another job.
That pretty much says it all right there.
That's just reality, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
All right. No matter, I always said this, and I'll say it again, and I want people to remember this. Everybody wants to be a leader, Scotty.
Okay.
When things are going good.
Makes sense.
But when things are negative and things are bad and you drop the ball, all right, a true leader takes that, picks that ball back up and says, let's continue to move forward. I take the blame for it. I take responsibility for it. Let's move forward.
Who was that said the buck stops here? Who was that in history? I'm trying to remember. Y'all know this.
I don't know.
The buck stops here at my desk.
You were living during the 40s and 50s, 60s.
This guy. Y'all stay close. We're going to test Chris Reed's knowledge here in just a moment. We're going to give him a test here of what he knows.
I'm nervous.
Yep. We'll find out. Stay close with us. We'll be right back.
For something as vital as your eyes, you should have your lenses and contacts made with the utmost care and precision. And that's what Grayson Optical does on 24th Avenue. Since 1996, Grayson Optical's mission has been to provide Meridian and surrounding areas with quality eye care products. That's why we're locally owned and operated. And don't forget, custom-made sunglasses like Costa for your eyes only. When you need to see clearly, Grayson Optical. 2021 24th Avenue, Meridian. 601-693-6374.
J&J Tire and Muffler, located at 3420 8th Street, invites you by. And if you need a front-end alignment, make sure to try their new state-of-the-art alignment machine. No matter the size of your truck and car, J&J can align it. J&J also has touch-free mounting, laser wheel balancing, and as always, they provide preventive maintenance, including CV axles, shocks, struts, brakes. And they even do work on motorcycles. With the largest selection of new and used tires, along with exhaust systems. Locally owned and operated since 1978 in Meridian.
One of the most important places to you is your home. That's why Patrick Allen Companies is proud to provide style, functionality, and security to your home. There's nothing quite like a well-designed overhead garage door or vinyl replacement windows, or the safety of a storm shelter to help your family feel protected. Patrick Allen offers doors and windows for commercial and industrial with dozens of innovative designs. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
And welcome back. And just overloads of people answering. It was Harry S. Truman who made that statement, the buck stops here.
The buck stops here.
And you really and truly have to have somebody, no matter what business it is, when it gets to that point, the buck stops here, I'm going to fix it. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. As I promised, we're going to test Chris Reed's ability here as we go back in time and look at a few things on this day in history. Do you know much about General George? And I'm not talking about the Bushes.
General George Bush.
Yeah.
No, look, history, besides math was my favorite subject in school, but I still failed it. And I loved history, but I didn't pay attention enough, and I failed it also. I spent the best 4 years of my life in the 6th grade.
Well, it was an old boy that they put in charge of what was left of that Continental Army, and his name was General George Washington. He done his very best there. Now, he may have drank one time crossing the Delaware and chunked a bottle. Do you know that actually, they found the bottle as he was crossing the Delaware? It was presented to him the night before with a stamp on it, and a guy was out there at the Potomac with a metal detector and found the bottle, and it's presented to George Washington on that day.
Could you imagine what it would
what is
auction off for?
Oh, I bet it was unreal.
If it was verified that it was the actual bottle that he threw.
Yeah. It was so many people that were after his job because they wanted it, and they ran him down saying he wasn't making a lot of great decisions. And there was.
Is that sounds like today.
But in the end, George would stay on top. And they would hold up at a place called Valley Forge. And eventually, Cornwallis was so ashamed that he would show up and have someone else hand his sword over. He couldn't even face George when they surrendered. Today, in history, marks the day that George became a legend because the last British soldier in 1783 walked out of New York. They left it. He was the winner unanimously.
So you look at it, if my history serves me correctly and I'm right, what happened in 1776?
It was a little document that was signed.
Right, and that's where
heard around the world.
Basically first became a nation, or
that was
1776. So it still took them 7 years to actually get completely out?
Absolutely. It was a long war. A lot of people think, well, it all ended there pretty quickly. No, that was a brutal thing, and we almost lost. I mean, it was very close.
Yeah, well, you look at it even now, even in Iraq, when it started, the Iraq War, and then how long it took us to get our troops out. I think 2011 was the last troops to exit. I was actually in Iraq whenever we called them the Big Army, which is us, actually left. The last troops, they drove down to Kuwaiti border, and they exited in 2011. I think November of 2011,
wow.
December 2011. And so Afghanistan was the same way, how long we were there and then how long it took for us to actually get all the troops out. Now, how it happened logistically was a complete another story.
Yeah, I bet it was. Are you a ventriloquist? Can you throw your voice any?
No, I can't.
Try it. I'm going to give you a word and see if you can do this. Go. The plane. Come on, try it.
Zeppelin.
Apparently you never watched. Did you ever watch the show?
Yes, Fantasy Island, man.
Ricardo Montalban was born on this day.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, if you ever watched it, it was the plane. And we all watched it.
I loved Fantasy Island.
There's nothing like a good fantasy. And he would go on from there to sell you Chrysler cars. Do you remember when he was the spokesperson for Chrysler?
No, I don't remember that.
He sold a bunch of
Fantasy Island, but I didn't really follow the actors like that.
You couldn't help but see. We only had 3 channels. How could you?
I was the one outside holding the satellite pole for my dad.
Chris, turn it.
Yeah, turn it right there. Leave it right there.
But I did enjoy that show, and I'm shocked out of all the remakes that they've made that they haven't taken this and ran with it with a new show, Fantasy Island. They could probably do a lot with that.
Now, I think they did a remake of Fantasy Island.
Did they?
I think they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they did, and it was a more modernized or whatever, and obviously it didn't last.
Like the Dallas Cowboys were stranded on a desert island with one guy. Was that it, Fantasy Island?
I don't know.
1940. Can you sing any? I have y'all. I kid y'all not. Chris can sing.
No.
Whether he admits it or not, he does. You do a lot of gospel stuff. He's stuttering, but he can sing.
I love music.
Now, you and I practice a lot of songs this morning. I'm teaching you new stuff that you need to know. You're not the best, but you're the best that I can do. Chris is going to be learning all this. But can you sing When a Man Loves a Woman?
No.
Boy, isn't that a classic?
It is a classic.
Well, the old boy that sang that was born on this day. Percy Sledge was born in 1940. I love that song. And he's right.
I actually love the line better. What you just said about best I can do. What was that line?
You're not the best, but you're the best that I can do.
I actually like
You're
the
not
line.
so fine.
I like the line in that song where it says, "You're not all fine, but you're all mine." See, that tells you there's somebody out there for everybody.
So let's twist the top and hope our kids look more like me than you. It's great.
You said that, Stephanie. He said that. I didn't.
And I am later, and I played this for Candace last week. There's so many people that don't realize that you have to have comedy to make you to get through life. There ain't a man alive that doesn't. Your wife's always on you, chewing at you. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Well, Vince Gill took that thought. And the Notorious Cherry Bombs, y'all look it up. And I always called it the Married Man song. And it's hard to kiss the lips at night that chew your blank all day long. It goes on and on, all day long.
Once again, you said that.
Y'all check it out. It's good. This young lady, I'll just say this is her birthday. I won't pick on her a bit. I almost went there and picked on her. 1960, Amy Grant was born. Beautiful lady, isn't she?
Yeah.
You'll remember her. She's done a lot. She's helped a lot of careers along the way.
Right.
Good person. I like her there. 1960, this young man would be born, and he would be forever remembered of being that little 3-year-old boy that stood on the side of a funeral procession with his hand like this. Anybody? The salute.
He was he died in his private plane, right?
He did.
That's it.
What a day. And then years later, 3 years, he would be 3 years old, and it would be this date that he stood where his dad died, where he was buried upon this day. Did you realize, I keep hitting the wrong button, there it is. JFK was buried on this day. He was 3 years old. I did not realize it was on his birthday that they buried his dad.
Did not.
November the 22nd, of course, a day that will be forever remembered in American history of when JFK was lost. We would move on, and he became so popular because there's so many married men in the world that sit back and go, what happened to my life? I'm a shoe salesman. Help me. And they just take your money and you sit there and you go, why do I exist? Anybody remembered Married with Children?
Look, I'm hosting with you, but the beliefs that Scotty Ray is saying, I don't necessarily agree with.
I'm sure he does. We talked about this for the show, and he's just too chicken to agree with me in public. Anybody remember this young lady, Christina Applegate?
Christina Applegate.
She is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Now
I think she has health problems.
Breast cancer, some form.
And there was a couple of other things that she's going through. So, yeah, but 71.
Boy, did she ever do a part that played Kelly, the dingy blonde. She played that part so good. And I guess the only other part that could be played any better would be her brother Bud, who was, well, not so smart.
Dumb as a box of rocks.
It was. And then, of course, Marcy, the next door neighbor. And then you had two husbands there, Steve, and I forget the other one's name that came along later. Jefferson, that's what it was. And a lot of people liked Jefferson a lot better because he was the hunky guy. Steve just kind of blended in. I can see in his eye, he ain't got a clue what I'm talking about.
Well, you know too much details about all these shows. And even songs. I'm actually amazed at the songs, even the lyrics, and you being able to remember those. So, yeah, look, my hat's off to you. I compliment you.
But I know stuff that doesn't matter.
Especially at your age.
Oh.
You're able to remember that.
Oh, it's getting bad up in here.
Man, you good people.
Anybody ever watched I couldn't bring myself to watch the new one because it just didn't look good. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Kids loved that TV show.
Absolutely loved it.
Jack Albertson died. He was the dad in that, if you remember, the grandfather.
Right.
He passed away on this date back in 81. What a big show it was. 1986, we would all learn that the rumors that we were hearing behind closed doors were true as the Iran-Contra scandal was released. It hit Time magazine on this date, and, well, it shook the world. It did. 1987, it was odd. Tom Selleck was a huge star. The other two I know, one's Ted Danson, and the other guy I don't know. But anybody remember that movie, 3 Men and a Baby?
Yeah, if you can actually YouTube it now, and there was a little story thing about a little, I guess, a spooky thing that if you YouTube 3 Men and a Baby, then in one of the scenes it shows a ghost standing behind the curtain in one of the scenes as they pass through in the apartment.
Really?
And and whenever they do it, you see that person or that ghost standing behind the curtains or whatever. So it's 3 men and a baby. So you can YouTube it.
I'm gonna check that out.
Ghost scene on 3 men and a baby, and you can pull it up and you'll actually see it. And for
Make
a second,
hair on
you're
your
going,
arm?
yeah. For a second, you kind of get little chills or whatever.
Ooh, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but this guy in the 70s was like huge. Anybody remember Flip Wilson? He was a comedian, done great. He done a lot of stand-up comedy, and he was humongous during the 70s. 1995, we would all go to the theaters on this night. It's reruns on TNT all the time, but you got to watch it. The Bodyguard.
Oh, I
opened.
cried so much in that movie.
I know. It touched you, didn't it?
Kevin Costner.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
I liked it. 2002, old Galveston would be behind the camera. People like Chris would haul him downtown. He got arrested. Glenn Campbell, whoop, DUI.
Man,
He didn't look
changed? Yeah, he changed.
Yeah, he did. Rhinestone Cow. 2002, one of the most famous Randy Travis. Now, you're going to remember Digging Up Bones and all of that. But a more modern song by Randy Travis you'll remember was released on this date is Three Wooden Crosses. Hit radio on this date back in 2002. That was 20 years ago, folks. Scaring y'all to death. 2010, one of the greatest pranks would ever hit a restaurant. Bob Dylan would call a restaurant and say, we're finishing our show. Could you get us some pizzas made? And boy, they whipped up about 120 pizzas, and guess what? It was a prank. Bob Dylan never called, and they made 120 pizzas for no reason.
$3,900. $3,900.
I think they gave all of that to the homeless shelters because, well, they were just out the money at that point.
They had to do something with it.
We brought up the show Barney Miller the other day. One of the detectives lost his life on this date. Maybe you remember him. Ron Glass passed away on this date back in 2016. That was a pretty good show, a cop show, as we all watched that. More coming up with Scotty, Ray, and Chris as we take you through Black Friday. Good morning. It's that time again, Christmas open house at Hickory Pickin' and the Red Goat General Store. It all happens November the 26th from 9 in the morning until 5 that afternoon. If you're looking for yard decorations or stockings, anything Christmas, they have it for you. And one of my favorites, samples and refreshments, sales throughout the store, and Christmas music playing to get you in the holiday spirit. It's the annual Christmas open house at Hickory Pickin' and the Red Goat General Store. Exit 115 in Hickory.
Meridian's favorite barbecue is Squealer's Barbecue, named the barbecue capital for the state of Mississippi. Whether it's barbecue, wings, or burgers, Squealer's simply has the best for a family environment. Every Thursday night, there's live music out on the porch. Takeout orders are welcome, and whether it's your next tailgate or large catering event, your friends at Squealer's are there to help. Drop in for lunch today or a night out on the town. Squealer's Barbecue, the best in fine barbecue.
Time to stop spending your entire weekend mowing grass. Step up to a Skag zero-turn lawnmower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk. As we talk about food, Maples already has it going on in Causeyville this morning. They got biscuits, bacon, all kinds of things getting stirred up. And if you'd like a piece of it, go on by. Or maybe the 31st Chevron is closer to you off the interstate. They got breakfast being served this morning, and before long we'll have lunch. The menu's hitting the storeways. You can get meat, vegetables, glass tea for around $8.99. A great bargain. Visit with them. They even have some chicken. Coffee? Maybe you need a cold drink to start your day. Some is coffee, some is caffeine. You take your pick there. Candy bars and chips and a whole lot more along with lottery tickets with 6 locations around town to take care of you. Clean, convenient. Causeyville, Pine Springs, Bonita, also Last Chance Tobacco, Broadmoor, and 31st Chevron. Drop in and visit with them. You'll be glad that you did as we move along this here Black Friday morning. Got to have that gasoline, don't you?
Got to have it.
How much is your little truck getting to the gallon? Or does it use just as much hauling you?
Well, empty, like no one in there, at my size or whatever, it gets real good gas mileage.
Yeah.
But I'd say between 25 and 30.
That ain't bad for a truck.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad. If I opened the tailgate, you remember that back in the day? I'd open the tailgate and say, hey, the wind, and I'd get more, better gas mileage.
How's that working?
I don't know.
What does it cost to fill that thing up now?
$5? Yeah, about $30.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, $30, and I drive it back and forth to work, and so it'll go on about a week and a half before I have to put gas in it. I absolutely love it.
Look, the kids are going to be coming out for this event. This is coming up the 28th. Today is 23 days from now. Make sure to come to downtown Meridian for the KCS Holiday Express train, as it makes it really brights lives up. They have a good time there at the Meridian Railroad Museum. Come make a kids' day. Bring yours down. That's going to be happening at 5 p.m. next Monday. So not bad. It'll be a great thing there. Let's see. Breakfast with Santa is coming to Northeast, as they'll have it there in the cafeteria on Saturday, December 3rd. 8 to 10 a.m. Tickets are at the door for $10 to $20. Just take your pick there.
And that's with anyone. Anyone can go to it.
Yeah. Go ahead, sit down, do your thing with Santa. Don't forget, Faith Baptist is going to be having their Journey to Jerusalem. We had them in a couple of weeks back, and they talked about this, a drive-through nativity. And this is just a few of the things. Now, I have not confirmed. I need to call Dr. Mason today to make sure that he's got his lights up and music going downtown Meridian. And then, have you been out to right off of 45, Minnebucket?
Going Minnebucket Road?
Are the lights up and going? Usually starts after Thanksgiving, if anybody knows for sure.
Yeah, usually you'll start seeing some posts and stuff. I haven't seen anything, but not saying that they're not up or whatever. I know that Steph and the girls, we usually go and make a loop around it.
You and I talked about this before we went on air this morning, about the grandparents that were killed in the wreck, airplane crash.
Yeah. They actually, a twin engine prop job, I think they flew from Illinois and going to Salem, North Carolina for Thanksgiving to spend with their family. They landed in Kentucky, fueled up, took back off, and I think they made it to North Carolina, and he called in saying that he was having engine problems and he needed to make a second pass around the airport. And that's whenever the plane went down. We hear, am I wrong that we hear more about private planes crashing than we ever do commercial? Is it because that on the commercial end that the maintenance is so much more on a company-owned jet? Yeah, because you have contract companies, and obviously the money is the amount of money is different on what you contract. Delta or whatever. I mean, multi
Right.
million or billion dollar company or whatever that can contract maintenance workers, and then your private planes that owners, they
sometimes maybe don't check the oil or whatever. Just using that as an example.
Right.
Every few hours they have to be rebuilt where it needs it or not. It's expensive to own an airplane.
Yeah, and not only that, but you're talking about how many hours of flight time. I don't even know how many hours, somebody out there may know, how many hours of flight time you have to have before you get your license, or to even get your license, and then also to get a recertification on your license. That it's not probably as much as obviously most of your commercial airline pilots are military.
Yeah, you're right.
And
so they know the business.
We have a lot at NAS Meridian that they leave that as an instructor pilot or whatever and attach on to a Delta Airlines or some other commercial. So
more up and coming with Scotty, Ray, and Chris. It is Black Friday. We want a smile out of you now. Y'all do that for us. We'll be right back. The Square Peg Mini Mall is located across from the Neshoba County Co-op in Philadelphia. And they're getting ready for the Christmas season with a large variety of furniture and over 30 vendors to browse through. You can take advantage of the layaway on furniture and not pick it up until Christmas Eve. The inventory is constantly updating, and there's always a chance for a surprise when you step inside. Family owned and operated, where they treat you like family. Come visit the Square Peg Mini Mall located at 335 West Main Street in Philadelphia.
Health Now is your locally owned medical equipment store. Every person's need is a little different, and they offer a little bit of everything from hospital beds, wheelchairs, reclining back wheelchairs, breathing treatments, CPAPs and supplies. They even have walkers, bath products, and oxygen. And the great thing about Health Now is they offer same-day service. They're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on call 24/7. Health Now Medical Equipment, where we treat our patients like family.
If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike Reed has years of experience dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. Well, the doors are open at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply. Why? They got a lot of great sales going on today. Drop in and visit with them. If you've got a deer hunter in your family, they've got exactly what you need. Something a little extra underneath the tree. Maybe you're a farmer. Well, they've got yours too. Maybe you need some decor. They got all of that today for you there at the Lauderdale County Farm Supply. Drop in. A great gift shop to find just about anything that you're looking for, from globes to wrapping paper to swings. It's all there, the gift shop, and so much more to find whatever you need around the home. Visit with them. Work boots. Keep your feet dry during this rainy weather. You'll find it there, along with corn and supplies for all your animals. Lauderdale County Farm Supply, exit 151. Again, the doors are wide open today. We invite you by to spend a little time with them. Get something that you might need. Been doing it since 1932, Chris.
1932.
That's a long time now,
That
isn't
is
it?
a long time. I think they have a section in there, a Christmas section
Yeah.
there as well.
Oh, let's
that
see here.
They go all out for.
As we look around the world, you ever heard of camel flu? No, me either. But that is the latest thing that they're saying is going around is camel flu. I don't do you go to the doctor and say I want a camel flu shot?
Well, you had the monkeypox, or wasn't that?
Yeah,
it?
that's a name.
And now the camel flu, and I think I've got the sloth virus.
I just don't understand all these different diseases that they come up with each year. Be careful. I know you're wanting to comment on of a headline there. I could not be an emergency room worker of how you could get something attached to your body, like a beer bottle.
Yeah, my palms are sweating for some reason.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We're not going to go into all that. But seriously, can you imagine being in the emergency room and going home? You're not going to believe what we saw tonight.
I would imagine those that work it on a daily basis, and that's their full-time job, that they see a lot of things.
Yeah, it would be funny sometimes. Other times you just have to shake. Same as a police officer and fireman. There's no telling what y'all bump into during the course of a day that you can't talk about, but it's still funny.
Yeah, are you showing it?
No. We're not. Yeah, we're not showing that. We're going to leave it at that. Things that people do. We want to say thank you for inviting us into your home and let us being a part of it. Candace will be back next week. Chris, thank you so much.
Man, I appreciate it. Look, I go back to my normal job, so I don't know when I'll be able to come back on, but I appreciate you inviting me. I always love doing this, and the hour does fly by.
See y'all Monday morning.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: